Hi, Lester, Wishu Engineer. It's been hot and dry in Queensland over the last few months. We've had very little rain and things are looking pretty sad actually for the farmers out west, so spare a thought for them. It's been so hot over the last few months that I just haven't wanted to take on any construction projects. Spending a few hours in a tin shed in 40+ degree temperatures, just not much fun. Well, it's gotten significantly cooler over the last week, so I've finally been able to get back into the shed and take on some construction projects. Now I've got a huge backlog of construction projects. I've been thinking of ideas, almost on a weekly basis, but I just haven't had a chance to get in to do any work, but until now, and because of this backlog of projects, there were two in particular that I really wanted to get to this week. And both of them were knife making projects, and I worked on them this week. Please bear in mind that I'm not a professional knife maker, but knife design and knife making are interests of mine. Now I've got a mate who likes to do tabletop role playing with me, who works in the QFES, which is the Queensland Fire and Emergency Services for those who are not Australian, and he asked me to make him a titanium knife. Now he wanted a Bowie knife in the style of the USMC K-Bar fighting utility knife. So I built this. So this is very much in the same design as the K-Bar knife, although it's built out of 4mm thick titanium, with it's got a slightly shorter blade, and the edge is treated with micro welded tungsten carbide, because of course titanium as a metal, although it's very hard and very tough, it doesn't reach the same kind of hardness that you're able to achieve with high carbon steels. And of course, the process of actually micro welding the tungsten carbide to the edge is in the knife industry is referred to as carbidization. I also gave it a lanyard strap attachment, just in case my buddy wants to put a lanyard on the end of it. But this also doubles as a glass breaker, and it's also been treated with tungsten carbide, so you can actually score glass with it if you need to. The bolsters are aluminium, and the handle scales are an Australian hardwood, which I've also patented in the same way that the K-Bar knife is patented. It was an interesting build. Not a terribly exciting project because there's not much by the way of engineering involved in this project. It was mostly a craft project. I thought I'd show it to you anyway. That brings us to the other project that I worked on this week. So many of you will have seen my videos detailing the build and testing of my titanium kukri. And many of you will know from one of my previous videos that I took the titanium kukri along with me to South Africa when I went on my last training trip. Now, while I was there, my instructor had a look at the knife. Don't know if you can hear that, but it's raining outside. That's brilliant news for us. We really could do with the rain, so I hope it continues. So my instructor had a look at the titanium kukri, and he really liked it, but he asked me to make him one with some modifications, also built out of titanium. He wanted something that he could take along with him on his cycling trips in the South African bush for utility purposes. He wanted something that was significantly shorter and less bulky than the traditional kukri design, because it would be on his person while he was cycling, and he didn't want something that was going to get in the way. To that challenging list of requirements, I added one of my own, that it would be designed for quick draw. you know, for those utility related events that require the rapid deployment of a utility knife. Like for instance, an emergency involving particularly tough biltong. Now for those who are not South African who are watching this, that's a dried seasoned meat snack essentially. I also knew that although my instructor has trained in the use of the kukri, is also a big fan of the karambit. Putting that together, I decided to design a hybrid weapon, a cross between a kukri and the karambit. Decided to call my design the Kukram. I did a brief online search for kukri karambit hybrids because I was sure that someone somewhere must have already done this, but I didn't find anything. So if you out there watching this and you know that this has already been done, leave a comment and a link below. I'd be very interested in seeing examples of how others have done this. Note that building the kukram out of lightweight titanium, and in addition to the shrinking of the traditional kukri design, all the while retaining sufficient blade presence to be useful as a cutting and chopping implement, was quite a challenge. I turned to a two-dimensional CAD package to work with the design for a few days in order to adjust the angles and curves to optimize the energy and force delivery behind the knife. In addition, I used my CAD package to design the rapid deployment Kukram sheath system, which is not yet built, unfortunately. And ultimately, I came up with this, the Kukram. So this is about 2/3 of the length of my traditional kukri. It's made out of formal thick titanium, also with a carbidized edge treatment. I incorporated a ring at the pommel to allow it to be used in the same way as you'd use a karambit, either with a hammer grip or with the traditional grip. In addition, you can grip and hold it in much the same way as you would a kukri, either with a reverse grip or with a forward grip. And also the angles and the curvature of the blade allows it to be used in similar ways to a karambit, but with far more blade presence. So there's a lot more material in the blade, and the convex blade geometry allows more slashing cuts to be made, especially on really tough biltong targets. With a traditional karambit design, there's always a chance that the viciously hooked blade, it's like a scythe, like a very curved blade, could get caught on the tough packaging material of a juicy piece of biltong instead of cutting into the biltong itself. The minimalist handle scales are made out of Australian hardwood and are small to keep the profile of the knife really small so that it can be worn at all times without impeding cycling activities. You'll notice there's a small projecting ring at the base of the blade. This acts as a guard to prevent your fingers from accidentally slipping up onto the blade itself while you're aggressively shaving biltong. But it's also part of the Kukram rapid deployment sheath system, something I can't really demonstrate to you at the moment because I didn't have time to build the sheath this week. But as soon as I've built the sheath, I will make a follow-up video to demonstrate how the rapid deployment Kukram system works. Since building the knife, I've had an opportunity to use it in various ways. It can actually be handled and used in various different ways because of the geometry of the blade. And I think it could actually be quite useful as a skinner for those who enjoy hunting for their biltong instead of buying it at the local South African store. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a like and a comment below, and subscribe if you're so inclined. I'll see you next time. Cheers.